Citadel. Don't just think you have what it takes, since very few can dare beat the high stakes. Go in and fight for all you got, or else you may just be left to rot. Take your aim, look straight far away, because this is your Send in your best men, send in your best friends, send in your best gin, 'cause we are ready again. We've come to race, we came to this place to bring out the best pace. So get ready to hear those who have to fall, right here inside of the Citadel. Citadel! Citadel! Citadel!
I hope you guys like the new intro song coming up here, because this is a new league that is formed in town and come around, and it is going to be showtime here for their very first showcase. Citadel Next Gens have arrived here in Daytona International Speedway, and the Next Gen cars are right here getting ready to fire it down here at Daytona International Speedway. Hi everyone, I am Christian Shriver, the dead man with a hot mic in hand, bringing to you Speed Zone TV and the first showcase of the Citadel Next Gens. And here is tonight's starting lineup presented on the pole. It'll be the number 34, Sean Bounty, the outside. The number 21, that'll be Levi Casey. Row number 2, in the 22, it's Joe Chacon. I hope I'm not saying your names wrong here. If I do, just tell me how to say it later. And the outside of them in the 18 is Rex. Row number 3, in the number 70 is Ryan Hinchcliffe. From the outside in the 17, it is Nicholas Shriver, no relation. Row number 4, in the 14 is Gabe Chavez. The outside in the 26 is Dylan Jasperson. On our final row today, here the driver of the number 64 is going to be Aaron Geheb. That is going to be your starting lineup for today's race. A little early morning session for some of us, and for others, it's a bit of a new way to kind of get out, getting something new in this time. I like it a lot, and it's hopefully going to bring us some good stuff here. Daytona International Speedway, though, not going to be an easy task for these drivers here. Let's take a look at our look around here on the track. Again, this is 2.5 miles in length. Very, very tough track, narrower than Daytona in terms of how far you can push the lengths to the limits. But for each of these drivers, it doesn't matter to them. All they truly care about is making the best out of a bad situation. The wind and the temperatures holding up pretty good here. We'll have to see how things go along as they get further and further into this race here today. But I think, if you ask me, this one can be a doozy from inside and out, depending on who gets the runs and who figures out the pace and the tempo. Good crowd on hand here as well from the virtual side into the real side here. Appreciate everyone that's tuned on in here today. Field now ready to work their way into the spectrum and into the drive. Field will come around off of turn number 3 into 4 this time on by. We will talk with the drivers as we go along with today's race. But race fans, the time has now come. They're going to pull them all through turn number 4. Pace car going to set the first showcase of the Citadel Next Gens here into action. And it is now that time. We get ready to get down to business and get down to the track. From corner number 4 down to the front straightaway, looking their way through. It is now showtime for the Citadel Next Gens. $100 laps to the distance here for these 9 drivers representing in multiple countries today. We got Australia, America as well represented in this one. From different walks of life in different counties and states here inside the U.S. and different paradises and providences of Australia. Everyone now working their way through on the back half. It'll be Sean Bounty leading us down with the 18 of Ulrex right from behind. Nicholas Shriver in the 17 here trying to get himself some momentum going in that fireball machine. Trying to get the old driver mentality back inside him and see what he can do out of the gate. Not too shabby out of the sparks here for me. Got our timing sheets and our timing gaps here set onto the Speedway here, and things working good. You'll see our race control markers pop up every now and then as well if something does happen on the circuit, so keep an eye out for that. But I think with 9 drivers here, really it's going to be all about tempo and pacing and making sure everybody stays within reason and doesn't get themselves into too much trouble. Pouring it on down the front straightaway right at the moment here. Bounty, Orex, Shriver, and Jacan. Again, I am trying not to mix things up today. I think it's either Jacan or Jacan. I'm going to go with Jacan for now. That's the best way I can look at it. If I am wrong, I will get it fixed the next time, if not quicker. Up on the outside, though, big run coming here from the 18. Orex making his mark. Now trying to make his move on the 34 Bounty. Opens the door up and now lingers his way in. Looking for the pass. Now has to keep things under control. It's a battle between Toyota and Chevy here. As the Toyotas of Bounty and Orex right now having to go mano a mano while one of the lone 2 Chevy boys and Shriver and Jacan right now trying to figure out what they can do with that speed. The rest all Fords. So 4 Fords, 3 Toyotas, 2 Chevys. Now that does seem like a little bit trivial. Why am I mentioning the manufacturer part on this? Well, you got to think, race fans, with the manufacturers around here, this place, Daytona, is a haven. For these manufacturers, they know this is the track and the place they want, nothing more than to be able to come out on top, be able to come out as victors and prove their worth and prove themselves down on the level and playing field that they race in. The home theater of speed and racing, and almost like a palace, if you will, to some of the greatest moments as well as some of the most terrifying and tragic in some ways as well. This place does not give 2 darns, and it does not care anymore. It will place every single one of the drivers as well as individuals who dare cross its gates into a world that only they can experience by racing in this kind of level and this kind of power. Dave Chavez here and Aaron Geheb right now doing some good work with Dylan Jasper as well. Jasperson, excuse me, on that 26, moving their way into place and trying to put themselves back into the front lines here. You can see that power dribbling down there from Jasperson here as he moves his way right up ahead, gets past Aaron Geheb. Aaron not letting up too much on the speed. You can see just how important that draft line is, as he's having a little bit of a glitch-crafted gremlin attack him on his end. That's why he had that little blink there. That was not us there, folks. Five laps out of the 100 down so far. Patience going to be a virtue here. Again, you're going to see drivers in and out of the race lead. Others trying to make their mark and put themselves in place here. No one is going to let up very easily here or give an inch to the other. And honestly, that is to be expected. Joe Chacon right now, the 22 here, doing a pretty nice settle work here. Stabilizing on the bottom lane, just trying to get back up there with Aaron Geheb. As both drivers right now look on from the race lead and positioning. It's going to jump back and forth quite a bit here because, again, you're going to see drivers trying to save fuel at times and some just trying to really get that power down and kind of build the momentum back in their occasion here. I predict that the longer this one goes, the longer it fights out with. It will be a scratch and clawing affair. And it looks like Orex here, despite qualifying in the 4th spot, having to fall back into the dead last position. He'll have to travel from the back stack and try to get back to that front pack. Looking on is Levi Casey here and Ryan Hitchcliffe. Keep themselves stable. Whoa, maybe not so much there for Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe almost getting nailed down into the pit side there. Definitely driving a very interesting looking scheme out there. I'll give him that. But a sweet scheme nevertheless. I'm gonna go on board here with Hinchcliffe. He's our lone Australian driver here today. Oh boy, oh boy. And he certainly is having to show what he can do down there dealing with the American side. Funny enough though, of course, there would be a New Zealand Australian driver that would be pretty much making quite a stir on the NASCAR scene when he arrived in that next gen car. Could Ryan Hinchcliffe be the next driver to do something like that and prove to the world that he's got something to prove? We'll certainly have to see. Gabe Chavez and Sean Bounty have been completely leading this one up so far. We'll have to see how well that kind of maintains his pace and kind of maintains things on the stride. Up on the outside goes the number 17 again, a Shriver, and now Nick Shriver trying to get something on that 22 of Joe Chacon. Again, he's looking for the side draft, and he's looking for that power play here. What the side draft will do is it helps get the flow of the current of the air to be able to push around and be able to keep that thing nice and steady, while at the same time giving it more power and momentum. However, with cars like this, considering that the front wheels are the ones usually that lock up more than anything, the rear wheels can end up causing more trouble than sometimes it's worth for some of them, and that's what they're trying to avoid right now. We're on the spotter cam right now. Here's our spotter showing you what they are looking at right now with their drivers and trying to figure out how to keep them in check. They'll be yelling at them throughout this one here as they continue to dick down in the pace and trying to stabilize everything up. Clipping and quickly building speed up on the outside. Ulrex here giving a big push there to the 17 fireball of Nicholas Shriver right now. And they're all just trying to get up quickly to that 34 of Sean Bounty, but your hard charge award recipients so far are the 14 of Gabe Chavez, Dylan Jasperson, and Aaron Geheb, with 5 spots up respectively for each one of them. Let's take a look at our lap time marker now here. Best lap time that the number 34 machine has set was a 47.053. His last time though was a 47.552. Again, you're not going to get a lot of speed built up and a lot of power drilled down there when you're literally having to run in this kind of circuit, this kind of situation. That's going to be something he's really having to avoid and trying to stay clear of no matter what goes down from there. And honestly, as a driver, the best thing you can do is just remain calm, remain focused, and don't let up. Keep yourself within reason and keep yourself in the playing field. If by chance, race fans, you are interested in possibly joining up with this league, I believe they are also recruiting and willing to let you in. It's a little earlier racing, but hey, there's some folks that live on the farther end of our streets that would love to do some oval racing and have some fun. So be sure to join on in if you can. It is Citadel and NXT Gens, or Next Gens, if you will. Their next race will be following up next time out. Next week, it will be down in Texas Motor Speedway here. Then after that, we'll go into that week following, and it'll be Michigan International Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, Nashville Super Speedway, then to Bristol. And then we get a little trip to Pocono, Las Vegas, Watkins Glen, Martinsville, Talladega, Dover, the Qualcomm Circuit Naval Air Base, and that one I am very excited for. It will be the very, very first time ever that we have presented the Qualcomm Naval Air Base on Speed Zone TV. It's another one I can knock off my hit list. Big push in the back there from Gabe Chavez. Here is now the big run coming from the 64 machine. Aaron Giheb here making some work and working some runs. Whoa, mama, he getting pushed around down there though and getting nailed down pretty quick. Orex trying to give him some speed, trying to give him some power. But man, did he get whacked around too hard. That thing got super loose and now has to try to bring it back into the fight. Orex letting him in and giving him some time to breathe. Good driving there, but man, that could have been bad. Everybody now just trying to get a stable foundation back growing again. So let's go ahead down there and talk now with one of our drivers here. We're going to go ahead and chat up here with the number 17 himself, Nicholas Schreiber. Nick, if you got a copy down there, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, right now you've been making some good moves, qualifying in the 6th spot, now having to try to charge back up and with one more run. I mean, what is so hard about trying to get this thing dialed in, let alone trying to keep your pace up with the way these guys are running right now?
Just trying to figure out who I want to run with towards the end of the day. And set up some alliances to get this done.
Is there anything you can think of really that may be kind of a factor here later on with the fuel and the tires that may be able to catch them off guard here?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you think there might be a way to factor in the fuel and tires to catch one of these guys off guard by chance?
We got about 17 laps left in this fuel run, so it'll come down to who wants to pit short and who's going to go as long as they can. I think that's going to break us up into 2 or 3 groups.
Sounds good there. All right, well, nevertheless, man, we'll get you back on the track and off the mic here. Thank you so much for taking your time with us. That was Nicholas Schreiber, race fans here having a quick little chat as he's now getting back to work down there, making a huge run there back to the back inside. Again, I will be chatting with drivers as we go along with today here, trying to see what their thoughts and feelings are and see what they're going to be kind of trying to present and bring up to this kind of track, this kind of layout here. Fielding down around onto the back straightaway here. Everybody just trying to stay clear of trouble. But you heard just a second ago with 17 laps of fuel left on that time zone here, that can be a big factor in who makes the moves and who makes the decision when to go in and when to go out. I suspect, though, that when that fuel run ends, it may send a few of them in a bit of a harder controlled spot. Pacing down now, they're going to go into the single file territory here. And again, the reason they're doing this is not because they're trying to all of a sudden play follow the leader. No, they're trying to save their tires and save their fuel for that big run of sets to come. And again, with this car as well, tires are going to play a factor here. This next gen car does have a bit of a harder to steer and control when the tires are burnt up a bit and kind of used up more than usual. That plays a huge factor and a huge detriment to the ones that are trying to make those quick passes on the outside, and those that are trying to make those quick runs as quick as they can up in the middle and the top brackets. You can even see too, just needing to find someone to help out with and get some of that speed back built up, it definitely makes it a lot harder to do. We got to factor in something else too, folks, is that the fact is with the oil temperatures on these cars, again, they can get really hot really quick by just wrapping in that position and pushing as hard as they can. So every now and then you'll see them swerve outside or swerve inside, trying to get some fresh, clean air back inside of the nose and the grill panel. As you saw right there with the 64 and even the 18, they are all over the joint right now, just trying to keep their cars from overheating, while at the same time also building up more speed to build onto the track. Lap 19 out of 100 so far here, and no one giving an inch to the other. See if maybe Sean Bounty's got a word here real quick with us. Sean, do you have a copy down there?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
All right, Sean Bounty has now joined us here on the Mike Race Fans. And Sean, I mean, so far it's been pretty much lights out from the word go, and you've started this race in the top spot. What do you got to do, though, to avoid the elusive pit strategies and pit stops that are coming your way soon?
Yeah, we got maximum 11 laps before we can really get in there without running out of fuel. Good question. Just keep it nice, steady, and clean. Back up pit entry so you don't speed. Yeah, just make sure we communicate with all the drivers. So it's pretty safe out here right now. I know iRacing's got this since the last time I really been out on these tracks all year. The draft model has changed a little bit, and to be realist, we got a small pack here, and for that outside lane to work, it really needs a lot of numbers, and I think everybody's starting to figure that out, and then everybody's now a little too afraid to jump out, get left out to dry, having one or two cars. Been watching them go to the back. It's going to take at least the back half of the field and tight side drafting to get up here and challenge. So I think right now everybody's just riding along, being calm, and making sure we get through the end of this thing.
I want to ask you about that draft package as well, too. We've noticed, obviously, it got a few times here. Gabe Chavez got right behind you there, and ended up giving you a nice little tail whip in the back there and pushing you around. How hard is it to keep this thing under control when you're getting pushed around like that, considering that the pusher is the one trying to get you to move up or get you further ahead?
Yeah, right now it's not any trouble. Every once in a while he gets a little momentum from the car behind him, and he'll just take it and give me a bump to push me forward. I don't really feel it. Like, I hear it, but I don't feel it. Car's really stable right now, but we're not pushing very hard. And throughout practice, I was glued to the bumper of a car in front of me all the way around, and as long as they're stable, you can do it. So they're not really that loose. I'm feeling perfectly fine if he's pushing me or driving through me. The car's pretty stable.
For sure there. All right. Whenever that's great insight and great to hear from you there, Sean. Good luck here as you get ready for pit road and try to hold these guys off the rest of the race.
Yeah, you too. We got maximum 8 laps.
All right. Well, good luck when the 8 laps comes to an end, my friend.
All right, take care.
Race fans, that was Sean Bounty there in the number 34 machine having a good little chat with us there. And that just gives you a good idea of, like, again, what these drivers are feeling inside there. Again, the one that pushes, again, is the one usually that has to not only keep this thing lined up and steady and control, but now with the draft package that iRacing has updated and fixed up, it seems to have made these cars a little bit less unstable and more focused and derivative on staying in shape and staying in control of your own destiny. Now, that does beg the question, though, which is going to be how tough is that pit stop going to be for these drivers, considering that they're having to look on at a clean race so far with a lot of pushers and goers, and that bubble, if you will, of the draft pack. Oh! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Down on the middle lane, there goes Levi Casey. Slammed down on the ground there, and now yellow is out. Yellow is out. We got a spinner. That is a 64. Aaron Giab has come to a stop. Whoa! Well, that one came out of left field there, and Nicholas Shriver also to a stop here. Not sure what happened to him. We're going to go to the replay and see what exactly started this. We do know that the 64 was up top there, and he came down early. Ooh, yeah, he came down way too early there. Claps into 21. Here he comes back up. Oh, look out. Oh! Oh, man, Nicholas Shriver just getting the tail end of that 64, and unfortunately, nothing they can do about that one. Oh, my goodness. That's like the worst feeling in the world, too, realizing that you're going one step ahead. The next thing you know, you're 2 steps back. Let's go on board here with Nick. Let's go on board with Nick. There you see right there. There goes the 21. He thinks he's clear. He thinks he's clear. Bash! Oh, man, what a hit. Now, thankfully, it doesn't look like he took any major damage. Uh-oh, hang on a minute. Hang on. I think I might have to reword that one here. There's a problem down there. Looks like the right side tire might be caved in on the 17. That's not good there. See if we get a look at that wheel down there. Trying to get a camera on if we can. Yeah, there's a major problem down there for the 17. He's going to have problems getting into pit road. He's going to get passed up by everyone else here. He's trying to fight it, trying to get it in, but that rear wheel is damaged badly. I thought maybe he was okay, but no, that thing is completely total down there. Oh, my goodness. Well, we're going to put him into pit road here. Everyone obviously is going to need to take a pit stop, get fuel. But for that 17 right now, I don't even want to think what's going through his mind right now. Frustration got to be built up from that. Try to get a camera down there on pit road. There we go. Levi Casey now getting in as well. Sean Bounty, first one out. Looks like everyone's going to take pit stops here and take themselves some tires and fuel. Gabe Chavez, Sean Bounty. Yep, everyone taking fuel and tires. Dylan Jasperson, Joe Chacon, Ryan Hitchcliffe, and looks like it's going to be... I got to put that back in the reverse there, Nicholas. Oh, yeah, you can tell he's got a problem. That thing is locked up badly. It's badly damaged. You can't even get it to stop on him. Levi in there quite a while here. Looks like he took some major damage on that hit, so we'll have to see how that affects him in this case. Well, we'll take it down real quick here, race fans, and chat up with one of our other drivers here. Gabe Chavez now joining us here. And Gabe, I mean, so far you've been pretty much the one that's been kind of keeping this 14 in line and stable with the 34 Bounty. But now, I'm about to restart having to start on the outside, or where is it going to be for you to get back in control and try to figure this one out for you and your team?
Well, yeah, it is I would say a shaky start, but I've just been tucked up against this Toyota for a good couple laps, and it's been pretty comfortable. I don't know. On restart, we'll see how it goes. See if there's any opportunities to freaking get around my man Sean here, but I've been pretty comfortable just staying behind him until we get further in the race, so we'll see how it goes.
With a race this long as well, I know you got to run 100 laps down here in Daytona. What does that do in terms of the mental psyche for you and your team, making sure that not only you stay out of trouble, but also just, pound down the laps to make sure you're keeping speeds up here?
It's tough. It's very tough to stay concentrated for what we're doing, probably 2 or 3 hours, but I don't know, just try to, you can kind of take a little bit of a mental break on the straightaways, lock in for the turns again, kind of keep your mind fresh.
Fresh indeed. Well, nevertheless, Gabe, we appreciate you taking some time with us here as you get ready to settle up on the outside here and get the 1 to go marker. We appreciate you taking your time, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Race fans, that was Gabe Chavez there in the 14. I think he probably was a little bit wondering, hey, wait a minute, why is he saying anything about him to go the outside? Well, there was drivers waiting for him to go, I could already tell. One quarter of the way done so far here, race fans, and despite what you may think, it's been a doozy in terms of battling and supremacy. There has been a lot of passing and a lot of opportunities mixed up in between. Nobody has gotten away this early on. You can argue Bounty was keeping everyone on a threshold, but again, you got to remember, nobody was pounding down that track and pounding down on our drivers to get that run going. When the run comes, that's what will change the name in the game. And it's time to find out who's going to get this one dialed back again and get it ready to focus in on the track. The pace car will come off turn number 4 this time around here and set everyone in motion for another hard days of racing. The question remains, though, who will be the one to try and take the top spot away. Can Sean Bounty hold on to it? He qualified first with a whole field of drivers looking to snatch that one away from him here as they pull him off down from the turn 4 down to the front straightaway. It's going to be showtime again for the Citadel Next Gens. And here we go. I tell you this, race fans, this is one of my favorite parts right here, is just everybody getting some speed going, getting some power down on the track. Everyone just mowing down the race lanes here, trying to get themselves squared up onto the circuit, looking for power and control underneath them. Sean Bounty now this time will have company on his doorstep. Gabe, you heard him say a minute ago he wasn't too thrilled about having to do this restart where he was at, and it looks like there's your answer why. Ulrex with a big push in the 18 to get that number 2 machine of Dylan Jasperson ahead. Driving a scheme very oddly familiar to a lot of racing fans down there back in the old Rusty Wallace days when he was tearing it up down here and even at Daytona, literally and figuratively. Bounty down on the bottom though. He played it cool. He played it smart. He's got help behind him as well in that number 70 of Ryan Hinchcliffe. Ryan right now, big push and shover right now, just trying to get the bubble pursed into session and get Bounty right where he needs to. But credit where credit's due. Jasperson and Ulrich, man, they're hanging on down there by a good bit, keeping the momentum going and keeping things nice and steady. Now, ultimately, will they be able to keep that going for a long time? As Jasperson having a glitch graphic gremlin pop up, Ulrich could not keep his momentum going with that happening there. If you can't see where the car is at, you don't know where to get the push and shove in between. And that's where things get very, very difficult. Because you just don't know anymore like where you're supposed to put it, where you're supposed to make the machine work from. It's just a tough, tough position to be in. But again, in iRacing, this is something you have to get used to, because it is bound to happen at some point. It happens to the best drivers. It even happens to the best pro drivers. It always is a dilemma that's in the back of their mind. It's in their thought process. It's just something they know they have to deal with. But the frustrating factor of it really is the fact that, you know, since it is there, you just wonder, oh, when is it going to happen? You know, when is it going to come down to it? And being in that position too, you know, I've been in their spots as well. As a driver, I absolutely despise it. It just makes me literally question everything. It makes me look at myself and like, what am I doing wrong, or what in the heck is going to happen down there that's going to cause me more trouble than really is worth to deal with in the first place in this race. But you got to put that aside. You got to stop thinking about it. You got to remember why you came here, why you came to race. You're out there to enjoy yourself and do something that many people don't get the opportunity to do. It's such a high level environment of pacing of this kind of nature too. Really can make the biggest difference in their thoughts and in their logic. Sean Bounty has now regained that lead completely up. Ryan Hinchcliffe, Gabe Chavez, Dylan Jasperson, and Ulrich right now holding up the top 5. Aaron Geheb, as well as Joe Chacon, still in this one here. Looks like Levi Casey has pretty much kind of left the building and got too much problems down there. Nicholas Shriver, unfortunately, looks like he might be out for the time being. Not sure what happened exactly down there with the driver of the number 17, but we'll go ahead and have a quick chat with him here. Nick, we got about a minute here, sir. Nick, you got a copy, sir? I think he might have left the building here, folks. I think he is out of that booth and out of that mic right now. I gotta believe he's probably not too happy right now inside that cockpit. Just pretty much just jumped out of it. Can't say that I blame him, honestly. If I'm in his shoes, I mean, I'm furious at the fact that literally got taken for a ride and nailed down there. It's just something you never want to see and deal with. Oh, wait, hold on there.
It's part of racing. No, it happens.
You holding up okay down there, Nick?
Yeah, it's saying that the car is far gone, so I'm gonna just ride and watch this one.
All right. Well, hey, man. I mean, nevertheless, you did some great stuff out there, and we're definitely putting up a good show. I mean, had you been able to keep on going, I mean, do you think really we're gonna have a chance to challenge for that racing lead here with some of these guys?
I don't know. Sean's a pretty good driver, so it would have been a good finish right there.
Certainly would have indeed. Well, nevertheless, Nick, I mean, I know it's a tough pill to swallow here, but we do appreciate coming on by, and we hope to see you out here next time around at Texamore Speedway when the time comes, my good sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the number 17 driver, Nicholas Shriver. And again, you can just hear that, you know, even though he may have been trying to hold it back, obviously the agony of defeat is something that no one wants to feel and no one wants to ever get themselves into. I've been down in that spot before. I've been in his shoes, and like he said before, sometimes that's just racing. It's the worst feeling to have to deal with. It's the worst feeling to know it even exists. Whoa, hold on down the front straightaway. Big wreck. We got a massive wreck. Big wreck on the front stretch. Big wreck on the front straightaway here. Multiple drivers involved. Gabe Chavez, Dylan Jasperson, Ryan Hinchcliffe in a nasty situation here. And oh no, there's that rear wheel issue I was talking about earlier. That was what got Nick Shriver in trouble, and now that might just happen to Hinchcliffe. Oh my goodness. Terrible, terrible break once again, and just absolutely catching everybody off guard. Yikes. Let's take a look at the replay here. See if we can get a good look what started this. Oh, big push there and a big shove. Looked like on the number 2, Jasperson. Ouch. Oh. Oh, look at that whole wheel just pop right off on the 70 there, and then having to try to put that thing back in place. Oh my goodness. Just absolutely mayhem there going off that corner. One more look at it here. Hinchcliffe. Yep, right there. There's the hit. Catches Gabe. And then there's that hit. Oh! And again, that too was not intending to get that 70 there. It just happened, unfortunately, right on the spot. And a terrible, terrible, terrible hit there, unfortunately. Putting him into a very, very tough predicament. You see right there, he just slowed down just a little bit, didn't keep the throttle up. And the next thing you know, bash. Look inside the cockpit, you can see him just holding onto that wheel, gripping it carefully, and just trying, hopefully, to get things back up. Switch into the shifter and making sure that he can get the sequential mode back in place. Oh, good Lord. Well, everyone now has gone to pit road here. Not quite halfway done with this one just yet, but a terrible situation ensuing there. And Sean Bounty in pit road. He's going to take his tires again here. Looks like the number 22, Joe Jacon. Looks like he might have a slight error there in pit road. Looks like he's trying to get it in there where he needs to. Looks like Ulrich's here. There he goes. Right where he needed to be there. Gabe Chavez here getting damage fixed up as well. Took a massive serious hit there. Aaron Geheb there as well. Absolutely tanked in the damage there. I don't know how they're going to get a lot of these guys fixed up and damaged back up here, but that was a terrible, terrible situation to say the least. I think Jacon might be having some troubles getting into place here. Again, that car looks like it's badly broken down and been badly beaten up here. And I think that might be what's kind of starting his whole mess here in his dilemma. He's just trying to hopefully get it squared up just to get it back out if he can. I honestly think if, like what Nick Shriver said, there's a lot of drivers that got into that wreck in that situation, that it's unfortunately not going to be looking too good on their end here. Yeah, it looks like we're going to lose possibly a few more in this one. Looks like they're getting fixed up on Aaron Geheb, Dylan Jasperson, Joe Jacon, Ryan Hinchcliffe. And that means only right now at the moment we have 3 drivers on the track. And that just goes to show you how tough Daytona really is, folks. Again, these are pretty good drivers in their own right. I've raced a good few of them. I've raced with a lot of them. I know Sean Bounty, true proven winner, proven champion. Nicholas Shriver, fast cat, knows how to get it done, gets himself into a bad situation. Ryan Hinchcliffe, honestly, was very impressive there for the time being. Just one small bobble or error there in front of him from the 2 of Jasperson, and the next thing you know, he was basically plowed right into him. And it looks like we're going to get Geheb as well as Jasperson back on the track. They've got a long way to go. They're a lot of traveling to get to them, but nevertheless, they will race it out. So it won't just be 3, it will be 5 still at it. Joe Jacon here, Ryan Hinchcliffe, Levi Casey, and Nicholas Shriver might be out of this one, though, unfortunately. We will have to see. We're going to try and get that fixed back up and put back onto the track here. And I'll just say this to race fans. Again, this is the first race of their season, the first race that they've got now here. I will say this at the end of my days, never ever judge a book by its cover on the first race unless there is truly a lot that you can just catch right away that is serious situations that need to be withheld. But in my opinion, that's far from the truth and far from this angle here. These drivers, again, they're going up against a car that's very, very difficult to master, very, very difficult even for pro-level drivers and the actual NASCAR Cup guys to figure out when it decides it wants to be a troublesome maker or a bit more of a problem maker. There's just things you just can't get away from and get out that position. So I highly recommend, again, being the judge of the book by its cover in the later half of this season, because that, in my opinion, will be when we should really keep an eye on this here. Nevertheless, though, race fans, field's going to work their way back on around here onto the front straightaway here. 5 cars still left to fight. 5 still wanting to get this one done tonight. Green flag back on out as lap 37 completes, going into 38. And now the field right into their occasion and right into their momentous boost here. Trying to dial them in and trying to get things set up as best they can, see what they can hold up on the circuit. Sean Bounty going to lead it, this time with Orex following from behind and pushing him around. Back to you right now, needing to get to work here. It looks like at the moment that Chavez, Ulrich, and Bounty have kind of figured out the winning formula. They've pushed themselves right up quickly ahead and getting further and further away from Jasperson and Geheb here. Geheb and Jasperson right now need to start putting things down on the track and start getting things kind of figured out because they are pretty far away. They are going to get that push going, though, with about 5 seconds back from the leaders. There's no telling what can happen here on the later half. Again, we are still just approaching the halfway marker. Multiple drivers, again, caught up in a bad wreck and a bad situation. And, again, if I've said it once, I'll say it again. It can truly happen to anybody down there. It is not just a certain select few. It could happen to anyone. That's That is the risks you run, especially in a plate track race S-style format. No one is immune to it. No one can get around to it that easily. It'll catch you completely in a bad spot, in a bad situation when you least expect it. Putting down the speeds and putting more momentum back on the track right now here. Chavez, Orex here looking to see what they can do against Boundy, as Boundy has now had a swap out in pushers. Orex now joining in the back there. Chavez now up to the front. And I think at this point, these three guys are probably more focused on just making sure that they can get further and further away from those last two and make it more of a kind of a race for those three to go out of here. Or maybe not so, because Orex there way hard on the throttle, back down. Probably saw the same thing he had happen earlier there with Hitchcliff. Knew when to back out and get away from it. Smart thinking on the face of the 18 here, getting out of that situation and putting himself in a much better limelight here. That was good thinking there. Now the pace again getting further and further away from Jasperson and Giheb. And right now, man, if I am Giheb and Jasperson, I gotta be absolutely livid with how long it took on their end to get their machines back up and running, things to get back taken care of. And you just look at and realize that now this is basically just who can survive the longest and who can just stay out, claim the points, and take themselves for a chance. They have a shot still, folks. If they can get that pit stop just right and get themselves in and out really quickly, there might be a chance for them here. But it does look like there is some damage still on Jasperson. Yeah, that right side there is damaged still. I think, honestly, I hate to say this out loud, but I think that might be what's slowing him down. But, again, when you're trying to stay with the pack and trying to push one or the other, you gotta go where the pushers can be. In this case, Bounty, Chavez, Orex. Again, Chavez with nasty damage on that right side. You had Orex here basically staying with him, pushing him more and more around. Chavez basically without that pusher, it makes it much more difficult to stick with Bounty and keep up with that pace. The longer this one goes to, the longer it really, in my opinion, favors the top three guys. But with that pit strategy looking at roughly about 30 or so laps into a fuel run, They will have to inevitably pit at some point. Just approaching halfway point here, race fans now. Looks like some possible change up in the lineup. Ulrex wants to stop being the one who's the mover. He wants to be the one who gets to be put back behind in front of the pusher. And he did successfully there. Ulrex now with the race lead. We've got a new leader coming to the halfway point. I think it's honestly been an absolute unit of time before. We've had these drivers literally in a different position, in a different spotlight here. And Bounty back onto the top side now. He's trying at it again, man. These guys, they do realize they got over half of the laps left to go, half the race. Oh my. Bounty did not like being back behind Ulrex and said, enough of that. I'm going back to the front. I didn't even think Ulrex got a full lap in on the race lead there. Either way, he definitely lost a lot of time and ground there, and unfortunately now puts himself in a very troublesome spot. Not sure if that was necessarily the plan or if that was just something they kind of had in mind there. Either way, it was very, very interesting and telling there. See if we can get a quick word in real quick here with Ulrex here. Ulrex, do you got a copy down there, my sir?
Hello, hello.
Hello, indeed. Whoa, didn't mean to pull you in as you got a little big bump in the back there.
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, let's see.
Multitasking, right?
Yeah, multitask indeed. And speaking of multitask there, for a second, you were ended up fighting and it's taking that race lead away there from Bounty before he decided he didn't want to be back behind you again. I mean, what was the kind of thought process there you had literally when he started making that move on you?
That I hoped the 14 was going to go with me, which he tried, but he's got that damage, so he's not able to get sucked up as much.
So for you, oh, I really should pick a better time to pick you guys in, but I was going to say, with the way these cars have been, having to rub off on one another and trying to hang on, I mean, how hard is it really going to be now? The fact you and Bounty, as well as just Chavez, with damage on his car, going to be basically the only ones being able to fight for this win now, possibly.
It's going to be interesting. Sean's definitely a good driver. We did some like recruitment races and stuff before the season, and yeah, he was taking us to town in a lot of them.
Sure there. Well, nevertheless here, I mean, we still got plenty of opportunities here and still plenty of chances coming up out for Daytona here. You're heading down to Texas. I mean, how big of a difference is that going to be here going from that draft track to literally having to go to a mile and a half long speedway?
Oh well, for me, I personally have never done Texas yet. I'm only about say 6 months or so into iRacing, so a lot of these tracks I haven't done before.
Indeed, indeed.
So
All
it'll
right.
definitely be interesting for sure.
Oh, definitely there. Well, nevertheless, here, Orex, we do appreciate coming on by here, there, and we'll let you try to figure out how to try to tame the beast of Daytona and try to tame these guys down a few pegs here. Good luck here in the rest of this race.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. You have a good day.
You too, ladies and gentlemen. The number driver of the 18, that was Orex. Again, I'll try to pick and pack and pick and pick the drivers as we get in here. Again, I'm trying to not get too many crazy things around here, too many crazy things up on the speedway here, but we'll try to chat with as many as we can. Let's have a listen in real quick, maybe here with the number 2 driver himself. Dylan, do you got a copy down there, my good sir? Oop. Looks like that might have been a bad time to bring him in. It looks like he's got a problem. Looks like he's got to go to pit road here. Yep, he's going into pit road. That was my bad there. I didn't even realize he had to go into pit road before we brought him in. That is my apologies to Dylan there. Hope I can be forgiven for that one. At least that was definitely not what I had in mind there. Again, working their way through and just trying to stabilize things down. Again, we still have over 40 laps left to go in this one. Sean Bounty been the leader for pretty much a good head chunk of this, and as you heard just a little bit while ago, he may be the one that is going to be very, very difficult to deal with in terms of overall positioning and overall racing this season, because he is not somebody you play around with. I've been around him and I've dealt with him enough. I can tell you he is a terrific driver, as he is a tough driver to beat. Just the times I've been able to run with him and times I've been able to deal with him, honestly, I think the biggest thing that a lot of these guys are going to need to figure out is just how to get a tempo, try to get a rhythm, and get things nailed down onto the circuit and get themselves more cautiously aware and set up in that position and in their areas here, because the thing is, the longer and harder you go, the tougher it becomes on not only your body, your wear and tear, and the mental fatigue, the absolute pains you got to be feeling down your feet, down from your arms to your hands. It's a lot of work there. And some of them, again, they don't even run their equipment at full power, full strength, just for the fact that they got these long races like this one here in front of them. It makes a difference. It's an absolute challenge. It can put you in a pretty much a world of hurt when you least expect it here. Gonna go on board here, and I just want to give you guys a good look at the damage that Chavez has got on that right side. Again, that is from literally the last caution we had earlier on, and that is how bad, without an instant repair or any of that stuff, that these cars are dealing with and struggling with. Oh, it is just absolutely monarchy and just massive issues to deal with and problems, to say the least. But at the moment here, it seems like at least Chavez and Bounty able to kind of work in a nice little half a median. And Ulrich, you heard him say a second ago there, he's trying desperately to get something figured out and trying to get something dialed up here, but at the moment doesn't look like he's getting quite a bit of that. Dylan Jasperson is in pit road here, and it looks like he's not going to be able to come out. I think he might have had a motor blow on him as I was about ready to pull him in and chat with him as he was drafting up with Aaron. And again, that motor probably blew from the damage that he sustained earlier on and just put him in this bad position. And man, at the end of the day, that is just the worst feeling ever, in the worst position. And for Aaron right now, I can only even imagine what in the heck is going through his mind here, realizing not only A, he's all alone, but B, he's literally just a sitting duck with these cars now ready to come up on him here. Here comes the leaders, and unfortunately for that 64, I don't think he's not going to turn into lap traffic in a minute. Up on the outside here, Orex right now putting up a little bit of speed there on that 14, maybe trying to see if he can try and catch a little bit of that draft pack, get a little bit of speed mixed up here. If I'm getting Aaron right now, I'm getting below that bottom. I'm getting right into these guys. Get down there with them, bud. Don't lose that draft. Don't lose that spot there. Chavez got to be careful here. He's in a very tough predicament as Ulrich's big run there, center fender fold. Finally got something going for him there and got it right on Bounty. Bounty again having to be pushed back from so far of a gap, using the draft there from the number 6 from 64 as well as from the 14. And now Bounty back up on the outside trying to get something going. He's put Ulrich in the same predicament. Big run coming, but here comes Chavez right there on the bottom. Oh, but he's going up top side with him. He's going with Bounty. I think he thinks that Bounty's got more speed and power. That's the way to go right now here. Aaron Geheb right now. If I'm him, get ahead of everyone. Get ahead as soon as you can. Don't lose that lap. Get that lap back and hope for a miracle at this point. That is your final 4 drivers that are able to stay in this one. Everyone else either wrecked out or got into a bad situation from earlier on. And Bounty once more able to get his way around that number 18 machine. Ulrich having to just pretty much be a sitting duck and look on. Man, oh man, oh man, the absolute battles and the fights that these drivers are putting themselves in and the wear and tear on their minds. Oh, you gotta keep in mind too, that this is literally a half of a Daytona 500 in terms of like their racing laps and everything. So with all that speed, all that pace, putting themselves into a situation like absolutely got to be just pointingly, just knowingly, just, oh my goodness. It's tough. It's just absolutely tough on everything you deal with and everything you go through because you're just trying so hard to stay one step ahead at transition, trying to stay one step ahead of the other drivers, not let the other guy get the better of you, not let the track get the better of you, and stay out of your own head. Like, you literally just almost got to turn the brain off and just only think, okay, one strategy, one call, have a backup. Oh, no! Have a backup ready, and oh, no. No. Aaron Geheb just completely spun and tail whipped around there off from turn number 2. Caught right in with Ulrich there. I have no idea if that was just an unfortunate situation or something more diabolical. Let's take a look at the replay here. Oh my goodness, folks. See right here coming down. Yeah, that looks, well, that looks like the 64 got loose on himself there. And when he got loose, all of a sudden, it was pretty much just no man's land down there. Another look at it. Yeah, again, you can see that draft, how hard it is to hold on. Again, this is no joke. When you're building that speed up, that power, drifts up a little bit and steers it back down and got caught off guard by the 18. And again, I don't think the 18 intentionally tried to get him. I think what happened is that he was basically way too close to him in that draft because, again, that's what you're doing in a draft race. You're that close. And when he tagged him, well, you can see what happens next. Again, right there, he probably didn't even realize he was that close. He basically planted it right on him there, and man, oh, that is the worst feeling. Not only is the driver taking it, but the one giving it. If they have a soul and common sense around here. I guarantee you the way I talk to Ulrich seems like he is kind of one that understands the dilemmas and situations and did not want to put himself into that position. What a terrible break, and frankly, I'm feeling very bad there for Aaron, unfortunately, having to be put in that position, and it looks like he is in pit road, and it looks like this might be the end of the 64. He's going to do his best to try to get that thing back out there. Same with Jasperson. It looks like they're still trying to put the motor back inside that thing. Try to get any laps they can back onto the circuit. Lap 66 now beginning here. We are 2/3 of the way there, folks. Again, it's not over yet with 3 drivers. For sure at this point will be your podium finishers, but now the question is, which one of them is going to get themselves into victory lane tonight? That's going to be the ultimate question. It's not a matter of when, but who. So pit stops now, plenty here as they get him inside the pit road. See right now what happens here with the number 14 machine as Chavez is in the pits here, and looks like oh, wait a minute, hold on. Something happened down there with Chavez there. My apologies in advance. I end up having to step away for a second here in the booth. Looks like Aaron's actually got the car back out on the track here. Let's see what happened exactly here with the 14. And Chavez, oh, yep, right there. He was trying to go into pit road. Oh, no. Oh. Yeah, looks like he had a mechanical problem there. Just trying to brake, get it to a dead stop. Entering for pit road, and yeah, it looks like something broke on the 14 there. Well, despite all that, Dylan Jasperson and Aaron Geheb are going to get back out on the track. And Sean Boundy right now going to lead us down with a 4-second gap over Orex. Chavez, if he can get that thing fixed up and get it out of pit road, it'll only be he's only 4 laps ahead right now of Aaron Geheb. Dylan Jasperson with a long road ahead of him right now. No, this is not a qualifying lap or a pace lap here, folks. This is literally the situation. Daytona just absolutely nuking this field and nuking everything that came in its wake. Jasperson going to go to the bottom lane here, and now going to try and get Aaron back with him. Similar to what we saw earlier. They're going to try and work together. Going to try and maintain the pace and get things figured out. But in the mind of a driver, in the mind of the spotlight, I mean, what can you do? Literally having to put yourself in this position, just be able to try to hang down and figure things out here. Lord, this is just absolutely hard to get through here for them. pace now just starting to get more in the rhythm of what the drivers that can get the packs going, keep things under control. Don't want to get into any more trouble. Don't want to get any more bad spots. That pit stop, though, definitely costing Gabe Chavez quite a bit of time. But look at this. Gabe, presence of mind and the right mindset. He says, I'm not quitting. I'm going to get back out there and finish this race. And how fitting is he's got Junior Motorsports on the side of that car and on the front. Very, very reminiscent to the thoughts and feelings that a certain other Earnhardt had around here, even at his worst at times. Sean Bounty right now just trying to put this one to bed and just put everything else in his hands. Right now, he needs to make sure he nails his pit stops. He needs to make sure he gets into the position he has to. Finish it strong. Don't think about anything else. Ulrich's right now at this point just hoping for maybe another chance at it, maybe a miracle. You know, here's a funny little fun fact for you race fans. If this race keeps going the way it is right now and it ends up finishing the way it is, I believe that this may be the farthest gap on our Speed Zone TV history that a driver in a drafting style car has gotten ahead of an entire field. Even on last lap Big Rex where the leader got away from someone or some other drivers, it did not say anything else there. Bounty right now is looking to try to make history here. And honestly, he may have the golden shot and the golden chance to do it here. He'll have just over 25 laps left now to finish. Get a little call back and focus back on to the other two drivers here. Jasperson calmly and easily going to be holding on to that top 5 spot this time of the day. The 64 of Aaron Geheb, despite the massive damage on that front nose, has stayed out. And if anything happens to Gabe Chavez here, he has a shot here to possibly make a run for it and get to Gabe and take that 3rd place position away from him. But it is so indicated as well as just focused and driven to have to put in this lane and in this spot and hope that you catch the brakes, you catch yourself in a good shot. You can't rely on cautions right now. So the only thing you can rely on is basically almost like that golden ticket where the motor just all of a sudden gives up or gives something of a shot in the dark all of a sudden to you and your team from not a driver error, but rather just a mechanical failure. But in this case, honestly, it's going to be very difficult to get it, especially with how well Gabe has been in terms of staying in control of his own destiny, minus the pit road stop in this case. Though I will say it can happen to anybody, and I've done it to myself. So now at the moment here, looks like there seems to be a bit of a problem once again there for Jasperson here. As he's slowed up quite a bit in the pace again. Looks like maybe he just got himself out of pit road and got himself fixed up again. Whatever damage he had left on that machine looks like it finally has been fixed up. But as you can tell, time obviously not on his side. He lost a lot of time there, a lot of ground due to that. Ulrich's went into pit road as well here. And now having to shift the gap back up. It is now 44 seconds away. Sean Bounty will have to go to pit road at least one more time. Ulrich is going to need to literally count on that break. He's going to need to catch that spot. If I'm Bounty, don't worry about tires unless you absolutely need them. Get the fuel, get out of there, and finish this race. Bounty right now here, just trying to see what he can do. I think if I remember right, I think I gave this guy the nickname the Bounty Hunter around here too. I thought that's what I ended up calling old Sean. And it looks like right now he has already claimed another bounty here today. Pretty much just took this thing in stride, took this thing with no regard to the other drivers or care as well. Pretty much focused on carefully the rhythm and where he needed to be, and now he is in pit road. He's going to see the other field of drivers there that unfortunately have not been able to continue on today. And out of pit road, there it is. Just fuel for the 34. Ulrich is coming, though. He's going to get on the front straightaway now, looking to try to catch him. Time clicking away. Bounty needs to start building the pace up quickly. Ulrich now heading off through the front stretch, going for turn 1 and 2, but Bounty is building speed back up. The momentum is starting to get in his favor. Starting to shut that gap time off a bit here. Ulrich here was only down to 13 seconds. Can he get some more on him? He's hurrying. He's hoping for something. That gap is not looking good, though. That's over 12 seconds still. Ulrich still building speed back up. I just don't see it happening, though. He's cutting it closer and closer. Oh, that's going to be troublesome for Ulrich here. Lap traffic coming right ahead for Bounty. That's Jasperson coming up, and now Bounty going to work with Jasperson. That's exactly what Bounty was hoping to see. Now he has someone to use as his leverage and as his driver to basically keep him away. This is brilliant strategy and brilliant moves here by the 34. And the racing gods blessing him quite a bit, in my opinion, with that lap traffic. But Ulrich might still have an ace up his sleeve. Aaron Giheb here, right in the mix. Pace now starting to fall back into the Orex camp here. But again, does he have enough time? The gap is getting further and further away from Bounty. Bounty's already got a 12.5-second gap almost. Now it is 12.5 seconds. And again, it's the fact is, he's not the one being pushed. He's the one doing the pushing. Something he has not done really all day long. And now, despite being in the race lead, he basically just gets to decide his own fate. Second now, gap up between Orex and Bounty, and man, that's just that's just insane to me just to even think about, let alone even look at here. Considering how far we went, considering how far these drivers pushed their luck and pushed their limits, it's just pure insanity today. There is still hope. There is still a chance. Just cannot give up. Anything can happen, and we've seen crazier things happen. Heck, even just the last couple of nights, me being in the real world and announced that some tracks, like, all of a sudden one little slip up or something went wrong, and it completely changes the playing field and the levels out there for all drivers and everyone involved without even realizing what had happened or what went down there. Bounty again just starting to push further and further along the lines. Jasperson pretty much giving him all he wants. Aaron Gihab here just looking on as he realizes what could have been, but still at least knowing he'll be in the upper echelon of the finish here. Nicholas Shriver taken out much earlier in the race here. Levi Casey about the same time. Ryan Hinchcliffe just about 10 laps later on, getting himself into a bad dilemma and situation over Jasperson. Takes himself completely out. Joe DeCon in that mix, in that mess. And then Jasperson, Gihab getting themselves into more problems. Getting Gihab really later in the race, getting a nasty humdinger right off of turn number 2 and basically destroyed the entire front nose. Putting himself into this position and getting that place in an area he did not want to be in. And Ulrex, again, the one that basically caught him off guard and got him into that position. Having to draft with him, I got to believe, is probably not too thrilled and not too happy. Gabe Chavez here now moved in there with the rest of that pack there, despite his damage on his car. Trying to get that draft pack there with the 64 and the 18. At this point, it's pretty much Ulrex's last resort with only about 10, with only just a mere 9 laps remaining. It's the only shot he had left here. Pounding it down with 9 laps left here into the circuit. Will we now turn to 8 laps left to go? Ulrex, literally at this point, it's a Hail Mary attempt. He's trying to get everyone that he can to help him out. Trying to push and shove the 18. Just one last chance to get to Bounty. That's nearly a 20-second gap. And this, no matter what you say, no matter how you look at it, that is going to be the craziest gap in history between two drivers for this first and second place spot. Field working their way around here, just trying to hopefully put this one to bed. Again, we will definitely be seeing more drivers get on the track here. This is just unfortunately the bad dilemma here with the wrecks and the situations. But again, I inquire in everyone once more to remember that this is not something you're going to see all the time, let alone every race. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days. I have them all the time in league races. I have them happen all the time in official races. And guess what? In real life, I see it all the time too. And you know how much more equipment it tears up and how much more money is put into that versus the virtual world where you only have to put in so much to go out there and get just a taste, a feeling of what it's like in the real world. It's the same dilemma and the same situation. Ulrex did stop the bleeding a little bit here. He's still losing time there on Bounty with 5 laps left to go. Here is the time delta sheet. I've been trying to put this thing up all day long, but thankfully we finally got a chance here to kind of show you what's going on. And again, Ulrex did build speed. You can see where he got that pack draft going. He was getting help and he got something for him, but after that, it pretty much turned into no man's land for him. And again, you're not seeing the time clip up yet because the fact is Ulrex is still having to get to the finish line before we can time him. And there it is right there. That sea of green, the 2 greens means that was gained from Ulrex, whereas the red says, hey, there was no gain. It was actually time loss. And time was gained to Bounty in terms of keeping him away. 4 laps left to go for the bounty hunter himself, Sean Bounty. The laps dwindling down. Time running out with 3 laps left to go. Bounty just looking to put this one to bed. Creating history along the way. Bounty right now just putting everything to good use, just trying to make sure he gets further and further away from Orex. Can't make a mistake now, though. The final laps are now in session. Here comes a white flag here for the Citadel Next Gen. The first race out. 9 made it to the show. 9 came to play. 9 came to race. Only 2 were able to stay on the lead lap in what I'm going to call an old Winston Cup beatdown. And a fight to survive and a scratch and survival mentality leaves us to the final edge of the race. Coming down the back straightaway for turn number 3 and heading down from corner number 4. Bounty played his cards right with a little bit of luck on the lap traffic side. He will take this one to victory lane in the very first race of the Citadel Next Gen Cup Series. There it is now, race fans. Official down there. Your race winner, the number 34, Sean Bounty, taking this one in stride, taking it on home. And an absolute class unit fight, stretched out battle. He did everything correctly. He started on the pole. He did not let others try to take it away from him. He stayed focused only on himself, made sure that he was not going to let just anybody try to take it away from him. Stayed focused in the moment. Stay true to his word. And that's what's going to find him today in victory lane. What a performance and what a drive here by all those that were able to make it out. Again, for the laps that we had, everybody racing, honestly, I loved what I seen. I loved what was going on. It was great stuff and looked good from point A to point B. It was just a shame we couldn't get everybody to the end, but that is certainly something that's not going to judge this entire season. One bad race does not make a season. I'll make that very, very clear at the end of our days. Here we are, race fans. Here is the Citadel race results. The 34, Sean Bounty, getting it done with Orex here getting in second. Third going to Gabe Chavez. Fourth going to Aaron Geheb. Fifth going to Dylan Jasperson. Sixth going to go to Joe Jacon. Seventh going to go to Ryan Hinchcliffe. Eighth goes to Levi Casey. And Nicholas Shriver finishing this one out in the 9th position. Well, there's only one thing left to do, race fans. Let's go and chat with our drivers. He joins me now, race fans, in victory lane here on the top of the mound, race fans. It is the number 34, Sean Bounty. And once more, Sean, You have claimed your name as the bounty hunter. You have taken the first bounty of the season. I mean, I got to believe that's certainly something you were hoping to do and get dialed in here today in Daytona.
Man, that's nostalgia. I haven't heard that nickname in a while.
It's been a while on different stations now, but hey, it's still the same name and face I usually run with.
Yeah. But yeah, to be fair, it's brand new league. These guys are just getting started, and hats off to them. Um, they're still recruiting. We're still getting guys up and running. So no criticism here. These guys are fantastic. The spirits are good. Love being in the room with these guys and seeing if this thing can grow. So yeah, I just love to be a part of it, and yeah, it's a great community. So anybody out here watching, feel free to come in and join and see if we can grow this thing.
For sure there. Now, I got to ask you, Sean. I mean, from point A to point B, you pretty much kept that thing up in the front pack the whole time. You pretty much kept a lot of drivers away from really trying to take your place or trying to take your position. I mean, how hard for you as it in that position and in your dilemma just to be able to fight off everyone that wanted so badly to take that race lead away from you?
Uh, to be fair, um, there was only like two guys really trying to get outside and make passes one at a time. And whenever one of them would get to the lead, I'd back up a little and get back by him. And they didn't really have too much help. They not enough help. And when they'd make a move, somebody would come in and fill the gap behind me. It just made my job a lot easier. And just recognizing where the draft package was sitting right now, the bottom side was just easy to protect. Didn't have to worry about going out there, and if they did pass me, it wasn't something to be concerned with too much. Um, we weren't pushing very hard. You can make runs one at a time, and get the lead back and just kind of hold it. But yeah, if you're stuck trying to fight off that, then you need like at least four cars committed together. So yeah, just held the bottom and hung out there.
You hung out there and took this one in stride. And, well, once more, I guess I got to ask you this elusive question. It's been a while since I've asked you here, Sean, but who are we thinking here tonight to get you to victory lane?
Just happy to be here. Appreciate seeing you come on board and seeing if we can get some eyes on this thing and everybody at Citadel for building this. It's not easy to get something off the ground, and so yeah, I just appreciate everybody at Citadel putting some races together and getting the league going and trying to build a community.
For sure there. Well, hey, nevertheless, here, Sean, it's been a while since we've seen the old bounty hunter raced on our speedway in our tracks tonight, but nevertheless, it's great to see you back. Congratulations getting it done today in the first race of the Citadel Next Gens.
Yeah, you too. Looking forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely. Race fans, give it up for your race winner tonight, number 34, Sean Bounty. All right, now joining me now here into the booth, race fans, comes in your second place finisher here tonight, the driver of the 18, Ulrex here, and Ulrex here, man, absolutely wild and chaotic there. A little bit of a mismatch there, a little bit of mishappening off to turn
Yeah.
two there. And I mean, talk me through what happened there, my good sir.
Yeah, the turn two incident with Aaron. To me, it looked like it just got a little loose coming out of the turn, and I wasn't able to react fast enough. I feel bad for doing that to him.
And the way things kind of played out here from when you were trying to catch up there with Bounty and trying to get that draft pack to work with you, I mean, what was going through your mind when you just kind of started seeing things kind of go further and further from you, and you just really didn't have enough time to catch up to him in this case?
Um, the main thing that was going through my head is I took a little bit too much fuel when I tried short pitting there. Uh, I ended up taking like 12 gallons. I probably could have got away with like 6 or something like that, which would have got me out with some of the cars a little sooner. But first league race I've ever done, so it's a learning experience. But definitely gotta shout out Nick, starting the Citadel and everything like that, and I think we'll have a pretty good season. And as Sean said, we're still recruiting.
Certainly seems like we're going to have a pretty good season indeed. And it was honestly very fun to call when it was going good. And we can't wait to see more of it. But Ulrex, I'll ask you this, my friend. Who we thinking here tonight for this second place finish?
I gotta definitely thank Gabe. He was when it was just me and Sean out there with Gabe. Gabe was riding around, even though he had damage to his splitter and right front. He was doing his best to stay there with us, and then early in the race, Ryan was giving me some bumps, and same with Dylan and Aaron. Everybody was good out there and stuff like that. We just had some unfortunate events happen with the early cautions and wrecks, and we'll definitely be better on the next race and see if we can give Sean a run for his money. I know it's going to be difficult, but we'll try.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, Ulrex, it's been a pleasure to have you on board. Congratulations getting it done here to the second place finish tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Race fans, it is Ulrex, the driver of the number 18, getting it done for second place. And finally now, race fans, here we haven't been able to chat with him all day long, but certainly going to be interesting to hear what he has to say. Gabe Chavez has joined us back once again here. And Gabe, oh boy, my good sir, man, you've had just an absolute day and a half here.
Yeah,
Things-
it was.
Go ahead, chat,
It was-
man. Let the people know it.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, we were doing pretty good, and the pit entry thing, I mean, completely 100% my fault. Didn't practice enough for it. But I mean, it's kind of, I'm pretty satisfied to know that, like, had that not happened, I would have been on the lead lap, and like, so it was just some things to work out. And then, I mean, beyond that, it was a pretty lonely race, but I was happy that I was able to keep up and maintain third. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm still satisfied with that.
For sure there. Now, Gabe, I'll ask you this, man. I mean, had a little bit of a pit stop issue. It looked like they're about just past halfway in the book here, and you had to end up putting that thing into pit road because of the damage and the struggle of getting that thing back to pit side here. If you were able to get that thing into pit road, though, with Orex as well as Bounty, do you think you might have had a chance here to try to make a run for that second or maybe that first spot with all said and done?
I think so. Yeah, if we had done the pit stop, if I had done the pit stop correctly, like, with the damage that I had, it was hard to pass at all, but being up there in the pack with them was definitely a possibility. I was able to, keep up in the draft and all that. So, I mean, who knows what happened at the end, but it was it's satisfying for me to know that, like, yeah, it would have been very good had I done the pit correctly. But I mean, just something to fix for next time, so.
Oh, absolutely there. Well, nevertheless, Gabe, we do appreciate at least getting on board here tonight and being able to race with the team and the group as well as, like, I'm on the show. I got to ask you, my friend, who are we thinking here tonight for this third place podium finish?
Ooh, I got to thank my family, my girlfriend, giving me the time to practice and sort of commit to trying to take it a little bit more seriously than, the casual level of racing I was doing before. Like, I'm putting in time and hours now to try and get better. So really, like, the fact that, my family's been there to, accept that and help out and, be excited for me has been great.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, I think you made a lot of folks happy tonight and pretty satisfied with all things considered. Gabe, it's been a pleasure to have you on board here today. We hope to see you next time on out, my good man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the third place finisher tonight, the driver of the number 14, Gabe Chavez. All right, race fans, that'll do it for our first showcase tonight of the Citadel Next Gens. Been a pleasure to have you guys all on board here tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until the green flag flies next time, which won't be very long here, we have another race to call later tonight. Be prepared for it. But until then, stay safe. Take care. God bless. I love you guys. See you next time.